hopefully this is streaming now, and yeah. So I'm gonna do some programming. You might be wondering about the mask. I'm actually just keeping my my nose warm because right now you want to keep your immune system up, and my nose gets really cold because it's cold here, and this mask is washable, so I'm not wasting any masks. Just keeping my face warm. Okay, so it looks like the stream is okay here, and I'm gonna explain what kind of programming stuff I'm gonna do. Let me just bring up the stream manager thing. Okay. Okay, and I'm just gonna explain this because I might be putting this on YouTube. I just thought it'd be interesting to make a live coronavirus, like a live stream. There's a lot of channels doing that, and basically the idea is to get some data from the web updated regularly and run it through, well, sort of parse it to get the data, and then I'll use Python for that, and then I'll run like a local server, so it'll be a web browser, and then I'll be broadcasting that, if that makes sense. So one part is getting the data from the web, parsing it with Python, and then the second part is the basically a GUI kind of, except there's no user interaction, just a display in the browser that will be HTML, JavaScript, but it'll be running on a server on my local machine. That's the plan. I haven't done much Python programming, period. I've only done maybe 300 hours total ever, and it's been a while, so probably there's going to be some time just like researching and looking around online, basically. Hold on, let me bring up the chat so I can see it the whole time. Hold on. Okay, so hopefully this is going to be okay. This is no dropped frames, that's good. I'm getting used to this setup as well. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is look on GitHub for if there's any, hold on. Gonna bring GitHub over here. Just make this quite small. Yeah, I want to check if there's anything already there about gathering, what is it, scalping the web? Web crawling for coronavirus information. So coronavirus, see if anything comes up. So yeah, we've got something here. So there might just be an API already. I looked briefly online, but not on GitHub for any APIs. I thought like everyone's using this John Hopkins data, I think. So I thought there might be an API for that, but basically I didn't find one from Google, but maybe something on GitHub here. So data. Okay, so I think this is just data, but not an API or something like that. Huh. GIF format. Interesting. So I could use this as part of the live stream. What is this doing? So Unix like OS, yeah, okay. So it's Mac OS or Linux. I'd like to know where it gets the data from. For China map, the following command sequence will grab data from DXY. What is DXY here? High-level information without specific source URLs. This is updated frequently and appears to be the best available data. Data is timestamped in Beijing. Direct link. Huh. What is this? Some data. Source. Okay, so this looks like only Chinese data here. Maybe that'll be useful, I don't know. This is not exactly what I was looking for. It's not like an API. Also, is it only possibly, well, it says Wuhan. Well, okay, it doesn't mean the region, it just means, it means the COVID-19, the virus. 3 contributors. I use that as a metric for how safe. Well, if there's only one contributor, I'm going to want to read the code before I run it on my machine. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. This one updated 6 minutes ago, 2.5 thousand stars. What's a next strain? That's probably not what I want. Query stats of infected coronavirus tracker in R. I don't know how to program R. Huh. John Hopkins data. You can test the app before preparing any kind of development. So this looks like it's, yeah, oh, add API. I want to poke around in this because it looks like it might be using an API that might be of value here. I'll move this keyboard over, hold on. Testing audio level. Don't know. Let me move the microphone. Sorry if this is noisy. Yeah, it's noisy. Okay, so let's poke around in this thing. Actually, here's what I want to do. I like to do this little tree. So we've got 126 files. Let's take a look here. Data raw, docs, tracker, You can visit the live tracker at blah blah blah. The app is optimized for mobile. Provides a great deal of interactive data visualization. So wait, actually I wanted to check that website out. Docs, tracker. Okay, so this one also talks about DXY data. I think I was looking at a different one that had that, yeah. So this is one API. I guess this is China stuff. Probably Weixin is also data on China. John Hopkins data is data on China and the rest of the world. So my question is, are they getting the John Hopkins data from an API, or are they scraping, web scraping? This is pretty cool. So usually these death rates are calculated in a very dumb way of simply dividing number of infected, dividing number of deaths by number of infected. I find that very dumb. It's got a nice map. Cases outside China, I like to look at that data. It's kind of disturbing. It's going exponential. Huh. Alright, so I want to see if they're using an API or if they're web scraping. So let's see here. Why is this called docs? Oh, it's okay. It's because it's the documentation. That makes sense. Dev. There was something that said tracker. Oh wait, tracker I looked at. There was something that said web scraper or something. Web crawler. So let's look at this. Crawl John Hopkins data and store in database. Okay, so this is. There is no API. See if we can get a URL here. Where would be a URL? Let me. If I just search for HTTP, no. Okay. Where's URL? DXY URL. I'm searching for read data. Okay. So I see, how many lines do we have here? About 145 lines. It's nice they've got a cron job for that. Okay, so it looks like the John Hopkins data is in a CSV, a comma separated, what is that? CSV, comma separated file anyway. Normal, like basic Excel spreadsheet. But where is it getting this from? Read data. I don't know where it's getting this data from. Newsapi.org. I'm gonna check that out at some point. That sounds cool. So I'll just leave that in the browser. Alright, I might come back here, I'm not sure. You know what, I'd like to just open this in Sublime Text. So, some other stuff I was doing. Hope you can see that okay. So this man directory, I presume is manual. And I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to view this on GitHub. Not sure. So, crawl coronavirus. Do not edit by hand. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to view this, but I can read the text anyway. Crawl John Hopkins data and store in database. So we should have some crawl coronavirus mod. It's crawl.r. That's what I was looking at before, right? Just like to get a brief overview of this project. It's got a Docker file. It's amazing in programming how all these different things how knowing so many different things can help. If I knew R, I'm sure that would help, although I'm finding it fairly easy to read for the most part. But then, yeah, Dockerfile, knowing this is some Linux kind of stuff, I guess. Well, of course, because Docker runs well, it's supposed to run on Linux basically, isn't it? Coronavirus.yaml. Okay, so I'm guessing it takes the data from these APIs and puts it into some YAML files. Get John Hopkins data. Is it getting John Hopkins data from here then? It's possible. Three contributors. Is this one of the things I was looking at before? This is, okay, number one result here. I don't know why I started looking at this one first. Sometimes I start at the least important and then move towards the important, but I kind of forgot to look at this anyway. But yeah, so it's using this one anyway. So I guess this is the source of the data that I'm looking for here. Okay, so we can see how often the data is updated. So we're looking for this one, 10 hours ago. This is where our data is going to be located. Data set, so it's got a README, daily reports, time series. So let me clone this repository. This one, so hold on. Okay. Okay, so this is where everyone's getting their data from. Actually, I'll just do I like LS1. There we go. All right, so let's do. I think I can ignore this data here. It's got 37 files. So let's do a tree of this. So we got 47 files in 2 directories. So we have daily reports and then time series. Okay. So this is okay, daily reports. So let's take a look. Oops. Let's open it up in Sublime then, huh? And I'm just gonna, should I just close this one? I think I'll close it for now. So I've got this data here. And this is in CSV files. So comma separated data. Well, it's separated by lines. It looks, oh, there's commas as well. Commas and lines, of course. So how long is this data? Okay, I see. So that's pretty basic. It's much less data than I thought there would be. And it looks like it's just updating daily. Interesting. So these live streams that say updating every 15 seconds or whatever, it's sort of just for looks, I guess. And then they can manually, like if they get official news reports, they can manually update stuff there too. All right, so let me take a good look at this data. Okay, so we've got province, state, country, region. So some of these are countries and some of them are provinces. So let me see, for example, if I type Tokyo, no. So it's got Chinese regions and everything else is a country. Oh, okay. That's weird. It looks like if it's a country, it starts with a comma. If it's a region, it just starts with the region. And if it's a specific county, it starts with quotes. So like countries, provinces, counties kind of breakdown. So I guess this is for infected, I'm guessing. Hold on. Okay, so the time is the last update, time. Then we have confirmed cases and then deaths. So this number for South Korea is not up to date. So I'm curious about, you know, how often these things are getting updated. So this is from March. Okay, so it's once a day, so that's why. But now if I go, hold on. If I go somewhere like the WuhanVirus.com here, and I scroll way down to where the countries are, this is an updated figure. So either there's a different API or different web scraping techniques that they're using, or they do some manual updates. 274 for Japan. Let's look at Japan here. It says 274. Lena, can you find the latest numbers for Japan? Maybe on Go-chan. You can take your time. I just want to compare it to the some data sources that I'm looking at. $277. And what's your source? Hold on, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna look. Okay, so the latest data for Japan is 277. Now that makes sense that it would be different from this data because this is only updated daily. But then this data, well, this is just some random website. The WuhanVirus.com has not the latest number. I'm curious. Let me close this one. I'm curious of, what was I looking at? This one? Curious if they have the latest numbers here for Japan. I mean, it's easy to get, well, the obvious one to get the latest numbers for is Korea because it's the biggest outside of China. In fact, I think that's where the biggest numbers of new infections are happening. So Japan is, I'm just checking the numbers for Japan because it's a little more. So does this have its own API? Swagger? So can I use a curl request here? That would be cool. Of course, I can also easily just download this, use curl to download this this data over here on the left, and it's easily parsed, but it only updates once per day. So if I were trying to do a live stream, then it's only so, I guess. But then, for example, this data, so let's just, I'll try to figure out if this data, how recent it is. 90,000 confirmed. According to Hopkins data, maybe I want to look here. I mean, maybe they just add up the numbers. Let me bring up again the other website. I see, so this is much more up to date. By the base lab, I wonder what they're using. Alright, so I'm gonna I'm not used to this keyboard. What data source or API do you use to get your data? I'll tweet that at them. Maybe at the bottom of the website it says some information. Six new cases in Norway, bringing total to 25. I wonder if these Twitter accounts are also... Okay, this is their Twitter account. I wonder if these are automated. New feature, dark mode. It's weird that I follow this website when they're not even that popular. 1,000 followers. So I guess this stuff might be automated. I'm following you. Let's see the notifications here. All right, whatever. So do I want to simply use the Johns Hopkins data that is updated once per day to start, and then I can use something else later? I guess it would be a good, you know what, it would be a good way to start, and I probably want to be using it anyway, right? I guess. I don't know. I think maybe I should spend a little more time researching sources of data, I think. Updated 36 minutes ago. What was updated 36 minutes ago? Might be something in here, I guess. Interesting. All right, let's go back to. All right, I'm gonna search again for data on Google. Situation reports. That was in here, wasn't it? Right here. jwatch.org. Pregnant? Why? Official coding guidelines. Data Hub APIs. This might be something good. What? I need to log in. All right, sign up for this. Sorry. Let me sign up. Okay, agree. Get some water while it's... Actually, so what's going on here? What is all this stuff? Hold on. Center for Systems Science and Engineering and DXY. Near real time. It says 90,000 infected, but the data, most recent data. Now maybe they're just updating this manually to get the most recent totals. I don't know. This is not the latest information here. Anyway. Here, data APIs. Maybe this is just a map API. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna guess that this is the only sort of, well, this is not an API, but this is sort of the most official, clear data that I can get. And anything that's has more frequent updates, I'd have to kind of build myself from a bunch of combining a bunch of different things. Alright, I guess later I can try to get more frequent data, but right now probably just using this data might be good enough here. So, how should I go about using the data? I guess I gotta decide what server I want to use. Python server or PHP server. Guess I'll stick with Python. Again, it's been a while. I gotta Google simple HTTP server. Which is HTTP server now, so HTTP server Python example. Sorry you can't see what I'm looking at. Let me switch this out. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this, so we're just gonna look. Yeah, so let's start with HTML. Just load this up here. All right, so yeah, let's make that index.html. So I think let me check my Python version. Python 3. You need to import 2 modules. Okay. So I guess I'll call it, just call it server.python, I guess. Or is it supposed to be .py, right? All right. Let me just see real quick. Got too many browser window things up. Tabs. Okay. Anyway. All right, so let's try to run the server here. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, I think probably just going Python server. Let's see if that works. Okay, so alright, so I've got an HTTP server running. I'm going to make a Git repo. Do I need the 80? Do I need this 80? Yeah. Okay. Now I like to actually put this up on my GitHub. Just thinking if I should make it private or public. I guess public will be good. So, just gonna log into my GitHub and make a public repo. It's just nice to do that because if I ever want to, well, other people can look at it, but also if this computer crashes tomorrow and I want to do it on another computer, I can easily do that. So git push u origin master. Okay, public repo. Cool. Alright, so we've got a basic HTTP server. Now I want to, let's see here. Can I git make directories? I've never, nah. But when I have an empty directory, it's gonna ignore it, right? Whatever. Okay. So I have some aliases. And commit. I don't know what that's about. Oops. Oh, it got weird. Okay. Just moving made src directory. Move stuff in it. So I can do a quick, what is it? Well, I just committed, so I can just do gp and push it. It's making me type this in every time. That's pretty annoying. My other computer doesn't do that, so there's got to be a way to change that. Okay. So, I've got the server. So I want the server to do like a curl kind of thing. So So I forget if I can directly do that or what. PyCurl. For sake of simplicity, maybe you should consider using the request library. PyCurl. Blah, 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 blah. Installation. Probably just use a pip, I imagine. libcurl installed. Do I have libcurl? How can I tell? Just sudo find. Sudo find. Actually, type. Wait. I name libcurl star, I guess. Libcurl, I mean, if I have curl, I probably have libcurl, I'm guessing. Looks like I have it. So pip install PyCurl. Requirement already satisfied. I already have it. All right. So I'm just going to copy this in there. So let's, first off, I'm going to do a separate Python file. So get data.py, paste that in there. I don't think I need this anymore. Let's just close this out. I'll make this a little bigger for the stream here. Okay. Alright, so it does a bunch of stuff. Write bytes, blah, 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 blah. Let me just run this and see if it does anything. Yeah, it got a bunch of HTML. So let's change the URL there. Oh, there's some way in Vim to delete up to the quotation mark, but I don't remember. Alright, so I'm going to get the URL from here. Actually, the URL is going to be changing, but we'll deal with that later. So did this get us the data we wanted? It gets it like in HTML. We want like the raw. So it's getting this. So raw. So I can copy this URL. delete tilde quotation mark. That would be nice to know. Oops. I'm just gonna do the noob style. No. Just gonna do this like a noob. And paste that in. Okay, cool. So that is getting us the data, John Hopkins data. So let's try to write something that's going to add up all the confirmed cases and get a total. So first I can strip out the first 2 lines. Let's see here. Do I want to do that in a separate Python file though? It's probably better just to do that in a separate file. Now I have a Python file I've done before that is doing similar stuff to what I'm about to do, so I'm going to look for that. And this stream has been a little more than an hour. I think I'm just going to stop for a bit, take a break, maybe stream again later with a continuation. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Goodbye.